Unlock your dream property with Meeks Realty Group, where Rich the Realtor makes real estate dreams a reality. Whether it's residential or commercial, we've got Charleston to Huntington covered. Your key to exceptional real estate experiences start here. Meeks Realty Group. Contact us at meeks.us.
The views and opinions expressed on this program do not necessarily reflect the views and opinions of 580 WCHS, its employees, or WVRC Media. From the studios of WVRC Media, the country, the United States of America, the state, West Virginia, the city, Charleston. This is the Dave Allen Show on 580 Live. And your host.
What we've got here is failure to communicate.
He's kind of a big deal.
I have come here to chew bubblegum and kick ass, and I'm all out of bubblegum.
Dave Allen.
Hey, folks, good Thursday morning to you. Welcome to the show. Bigly, Piggly, Wiggly, hotline 304-345-5858. Tony the Taylor text 304-935-5008. The Dave Allen Show on 580 Live, brought to you by Thornhill Auto Group, including Thornhill Ford Lincoln on the Thornhill Motor Mile, US 119 in Chapmanville. Drive home with a new 2024 Ford Escape with a 2.9% APR for up to 72 months, plus a $1,000 trade assist rebate. Must qualify for all offers through Ford Financial. See Thornhill for all details. And we do the show from the Parmar Store studio. Parmar invites you out tonight for Wally and Wimpy's night, starting at 6 at Buffalo Wild Wings and Cross Lanes. Lots of food, fun, and prizes, plus the cool kids from the Touchdown City podcast show will be on hand as well. Don't forget to pick up a copy of the state's premier sports publication, Wally and Wimpy's, at your favorite Parmar location. And if there's not a Parmar store near you now, there will be soon. Phone calls to the show, a service of Bigly, Piggly, Wiggly on Spring Street, and texting services provided by West Virginia's finest men's store, Tony the Taylor, Virginia Street in Charleston. Visit bestmastertailor.com. And a reminder that Tony the Taylor closed for vacation through the 27th of this month. But on the 27th, be sure and join the Summer Jam concert sponsored by Tony the Taylor at the Red Carpet Pavilion with guitar legend Gary Hoey and special guest, the Amos Steel Company. All right, coming up on the show this morning, we got a lot to get to. We have Kanawha County Commissioner Ben Salango is going to be stopping by with an update on several things, including the Capitol Sports Complex, also some renovations to the Kanawha County Courthouse, and the latest at Shawnee, some things going on out there we'll talk to Commissioner Salango about. State Democratic Party Chair and Delegate Mike Pushkin will be stopping by the show as well. But I want to bring in now Tim Brady from the Charleston Convention and Visitors Bureau. Tim, good morning. Welcome to the show.
Good morning, Dave. Thanks for having me, bud.
I appreciate you being here, and I also appreciate you letting us postpone for just a couple of days. Originally, I told the listeners I had you scheduled on the show on Monday, but with the events that happened with the former president and the assassination attempt on Saturday, in Butler, Pennsylvania, I got with you and said, yeah, maybe we ought to put that off a couple of days. So I appreciate you being flexible with us, man.
Absolutely, man. Anytime I can help out, and I think you made the right call clearly. So. Yeah.
So let's talk some numbers. And I guess the press release probably went out last week or so. The numbers are in for the Pro Road Bike Championships in Charleston in May. And please, listeners, note that the numbers are going to be crunched even further over the next several months. But overall, Tim, give us the overall. How are we looking?
Well, I mean, it was a home run, Dave. It was we calculated a $4.6 million economic impact to our city during those 6 days of USA Cycling's Pro Road National Championship. That included, 2,800 overnight visitors specifically for the cycling event. We saw 20+% increase in visitor spending while the event was going on in our city. Just all around, very solid, very, numbers that we're very enthusiastic about. We're bullish on year two because now we have proof of concept. We had a successful year one with great numbers. And I think that's only going to grow in year two as now people are more familiar with what the event is, and there's excitement for next year, which the dates have been set now, and it will be May 20th to the 25th of 2025. That event returns to Charleston, West Virginia.
And now, what exactly, and this is what you do for a living, among other things, what exactly goes into these numbers? When you hear, I think you said
Sure.
the $3.6 million economic impact, the 2,800 overnight visitors, unique visitors for this event, what goes into calculating those? How do you get those numbers? Kind of break that down for the folks.
Sure. It was $4.6 million. You shorted me $1 million.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
I'll let that one slide this time.
Yeah.
So this calculates everything from lodging expense, retail and restaurant spending, the economic impact of having these events in the city and the vendors that get paid off of these events. One of the things that I'm, most proud of when we talk about this event last year is that in every instance possible, we used local vendors. Radio communications used a local vendor. For all of our auto needs, local vendors, Enterprise Rental Car, Astorg, we use local people. We use local people for ice, for beverage. So it's all of these local vendors and contractors that get paid off of the event. It's the increase in spending at, say, the hotel because of the influx of guests. So they're, paying more hours out when it comes to housekeeping services, linen services, things like that. So the economic impact number has, some multipliers in it that are based on national averages. One overnight guest equals this much spending. So it takes into account a lot of factors, and we certainly don't do that on our own. We use an economic impact calculator that is a module created by Destinations International, which is an internationally recognized tourism research company. And we get data from a company called Zartico, and they track third-party anonymous cell phone and credit card data that gives us zip code information so we can see how many people are in town for the event, but also where they come from. So there's a lot that goes into it, and that's why it doesn't happen overnight, these calculations and these reports. It takes a while to collect all of this data. So we're very thorough. It's pretty scientific, and we can confidently say that we generated nearly $5 million in spending in the city of Charleston during those 6 days, which to me is just awesome.
It is. Again, we're talking to Tim Brady from the Charleston Convention and Visitors Bureau. And, there's always those, and everybody's got opinions, and everybody's got their right to say whether it's this or whether it's regatta or any of the activities that go on throughout the region, the state, the nation, whatever. There are always those that'll say, well, I think sometimes, Tim, people get the focus wrong, and they think about, well, there's not that many bike riders in Charleston. Okay. Well, there are. That's mistake number one. But again, you're talking about people that came in specifically for this event. And I was downtown on the Thursday night with our sister station, The Mountain. We did our live broadcast. We do a Bar 101, and I subbed for Steve Animal that night. And the people that I saw not only in there, but also around the area, because it was a beautiful evening. We were outside more than what we were inside. And the people that I saw that came in for this event, many of whom were just fans. We talked to some people from Virginia that came in just to watch this event.
Yeah, that's
amazing.
One of the things we learned early on is that the cycling community is very passionate, and we did see that. We saw a lot of people who weren't competitors, weren't family of competitors, just they're cycling enthusiasts, and they came to town specifically for the race, and they traveled to wherever the race is each year. We talked about nearly 500 athletes competing, which is more than they had in Knoxville when the event was hosted there. So we increased our rider registration in Charleston, West Virginia. But it's the teams, it's the families, it's the friends, it's the cycling enthusiasts that are all coming to town. But it's more than that, too, Dave, and I'll throw out another statistic to you. We saw visitor spending increase during the event, but the percentage of visitors in downtown Charleston was actually down compared to other time segments. And what that tells us is there were so many locals who came out and were engaged, and also spending money, by the way, so many locals that were out and engaged that it took this influx of visitors and actually sort of watered it down because there were so many local people out cheering and ringing cowbells and out enthusiastically supporting the event. So from a community development standpoint, we brought in great numbers, great economic impact, also had significant community impact because people in Charleston just embraced this race, and it was wonderful to see. And that's, again, part of why we're so enthusiastic about year two, because now the locals are engaged and excited about it, and everybody wants to know, when is it going to be next year? And we're able to now tell them. So it generated a lot of community impact as well. And, oh, by the way, we raised some money for the Mountaineer Food Bank to help fight hunger in our community. We partnered with the Stern Wheel Regatta to give away 200 bikes to children from families that need that kind of assistance from low-income families. So we gave away a bunch of we got kids on bikes. We helped raise money for our statewide food pantry, and we had a great, successful event. Top to bottom, soup to nuts. This was just an outstanding week for the city of Charleston.
Dave Allen Show on 580 Live, brought to you in part by Brightway Insurance, the Mays agency. They now offer small business insurance through the 4 major carriers, the Hartford, Travelers, Progressive, and Next. Call or stop by and see John and Sherry at 3860 Tays Valley Road, Suite 1 in Hurricane, 304-814-2509, or visit brightwaymays.com. Tim, before I let you go, I guess we're about at the halfway point of summer. We could look at it that way, give or take a little. From regatta to festival to upcoming events like Multifest and concerts and the events at Shawnee, countless other festivals going on. Too many to mention in the closing seconds here. Our stations are going to be a part of the events this weekend with Water Days at Laidley Field. I know there's things going on over at the Go-Mart Ballpark this weekend. It's been a great summer here in Charleston and the entire Kanawha Valley, and there's plenty more to come.
Yeah, it's you're right. It's been a great summer. It's going to continue. We've what you failed to mention, and we can talk about this at a later date.
Yeah.
The Harley Ownership Group Eastern Rally is coming to Charleston in August. In October, we'll welcome USA Karate with a national juniors tournament where we anticipate in the neighborhood of 1,000 competitors coming into our city. So summer continues strong, and that's going to roll right into a really great fall in the city of Charleston, and then you get into October with all of the great October events in our city. So, we're rolling, Dave, and it's fun and it's exciting, and I couldn't be more bullish about where we are as a city and where we're headed.
Going to leave you with this. Text says, okay, Dave, I'm curious, how many times per day does this guy get asked or joked about Tom Brady? I'm sure it gets really old for him.
Hey, listen, 1 letter difference in our name and a whole lot of zeros in the bank account, brother.
All right. Tim, I appreciate you, man. We'll talk soon.
Sir.
Thanks a lot, buddy.
Thanks, Dave. Take care.
Tim Brady, Charleston Convention and Visitors Bureau. West Virginia Enriched in collaboration with Huntington invites you to witness the transformative power of Special Olympics. Take a few moments to be inspired and to join the collective effort in making a difference. Not just a story, it's a movement of hope, inclusivity, and triumph, reminding us all that every individual deserves a chance to shine in West Virginia and beyond. Huntington truly making a difference right here at home. See a video highlighting the Special Olympics at facebook.com/580WCHS. Biggly Piggly Wiggly hotline 304-345-5858. Tony the Taylor, text 304-935-5008. Let me go ahead and get this out before I get, and I kind of mentioned it there in the interview with Tim. This weekend, Saturday and Sunday, you are invited to bring the entire family over to Laidley Field as the Mega Inflatable Carnival and Salango Law present Water Days at Laidley Field. Now, it's $10 a person, get you and the kids in, take in all the activities, $10. There are over 40 water rides and activities, water slides, water gun battles, foam parties, and a whole lot more. Now, Saturday, the hours are from 10:30 to 6, Sunday, noon to 6. All of our stations will be there. In fact, my man, Steve Animal, on 98.7 The Mountain, Wild and Wonderful Classic Rock, has been giving away 6 packs of tickets all this week on his morning show. So we'll have another 6-pack of tickets, that is, to give away. It's with Steve, you never know. It's tickets. Tomorrow between 6 and 10. Now, on Saturday, I'll be there representing the Mountain from noon until 2. Jenny Murray and we'll be there from V100, and Chapel from 96.1 KWS. And on Sunday, Woody Woods from The Beat is going to be there. It's going to be a great time. And Aaron Wood from Quantum will join us tomorrow on the show to talk about it. Also, want to mention City Center Live is going on at Slack Plaza. Among other things, this evening, Open Sky, Open Mic, which is hosted by Folklore Music Exchange, is going on. You can go to artsamplifywv.com for more information about that. So please, 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 please tell me there's nothing going on in Charleston. Please. We got Kanawha County Commissioner Ben Salango covered up also a little bit later on. We will have Mike Pushkin in studio. The Dave Allen Show on 580 Live is presented by General Hardware of Winfield and Milton and General Lumber of Winfield. For all projects, big and small, shop locally. Visit GeneralHardwareWV.com. Ben Salango covered up next on the Voice of Charleston, WCHS.
Brought to you by the Eric J. Tarr Family Businesses. Eric J. Tarr Family Businesses have been creating jobs in West Virginia since 1997.
Red, white, and vroom! Gear up for incredible savings at Thornhill Ford Lincoln on the Thornhill Motor Mile. Hey, it's Sydney, and right now at Thornhill, you can drive home a new 2024 Ford Escape with 2.9% APR for up to 72 months, plus a $1,000 trade assist rebate. Shop online anytime at thornhillford.net or visit us on US 119 in Chapmanville. Discover why Thornhill Ford Lincoln is your ultimate destination for unbeatable deals and exceptional service on the road to total savings. Must qualify for all offers through Ford Financial. See Thornhill for all details.
Hey, it's Dave Allen for Parmar Stores. And now that the warm weather months are here, you know where you need to be, your local Parmar store. Heading to the lake, the ball field, or your favorite picnic site, or just working around your place, Parmar has everything you'll need, from gas to grocery, snacks, and much, much more. Download the Parmar app and sign up for the Parmar Rewards Card. Ohio, West Virginia, Kentucky, Maryland, Pennsylvania, and Virginia. If there's not a Parmar store near you now, there will be soon.
Wow, it feels like summer just started, but time sure is flying by, and before you know it, school will be back in session. This school year, Members Choice West Virginia can help you check off everything on your school shopping list with a back-to-school loan. Now through August 31st, you can get all the school supplies you need with a back-to-school loan of up to $1,500 with rates as low as 7.99% and up to 12 months to pay back. Apply today at 201 Ohio Avenue in Charleston or visit MCWV online at memberschoicewv.com. Loans are subject to credit approval. Additional restrictions may apply.
According to USA Today, 1 in 7 children in West Virginia face food insecurity issues. Hi, I'm Jason Quintrell, President and CEO of Union Mission Ministries. There are some obstacles our children face with access to food despite many feeding programs available. That is why Union Mission has partnered with some local middle schools to place food directly into the hands of children who need it. Help us remove those obstacles and help feed our kids. Visit unionmission.com to learn more.
9:23. I've made the commissioner laugh, and the proving that politicians do have, I guess, a sense of humor. I made the commissioner laugh a little bit here, telling off-color jokes off mic. He did not participate in the off-color jokes, by the way. That was
did hear it, and I liked it, and I chuckled
and admonished me and said,
"No, I gave you that look. Hey, we're on air, Dave. You got to calm down, buddy."
First rule of radio is treat every mic like it's a live mic. I never learned that rule.
That's a rule in politics, also.
Yeah. But Dave Allen Show on 580 Live, brought to you part by Live Healthy West Virginia, presented by WVU Medicine. Live Healthy tackles pressing health issues. It's a podcast that offers insights into medical breakthroughs and preventative care, featuring WVU Medicine's expert physicians aimed at fostering healthier lifestyles in and beyond West Virginia. It's a valuable resource for all. Check out the latest episodes on WVMetronews.com under the podcast menu and start your journey towards better health today. Commissioner Salango is here. Hey, man.
I'm here. Thanks for having me.
Having a good summer so far?
Yeah, actually.
Getting a little family time in? I mean, as much as you can?
Getting a little family time, and mostly indoors. It's 100 degrees outside.
Well, it's looking, if you step outside this morning, we got a little fog and a little humid this morning, but it's going to be, next couple of days are going to be good.
My yard needed it.
Yeah, really. So let's get to the Capitol Sports Complex. Mm-hmm. No pool now?
Yeah, so basically what we did, we had a lot of difficulty. That's to put it mildly, acquiring the parking garages. We tried. Actually offered them more than they got at the auction. Tried very hard to get the parking garages. They simply would not come to our terms. So, you've got to move on. And we also
who is
the bondholders.
The bondholders would not come to the terms.
Yeah, they simply valued it way too high. They thought that they had us in a predicament where we would come in and just throw money and like it didn't matter, and it does matter. And in addition to the property acquisition, there's tremendous repair issues.
So it
was going to cost a lot of money.
That's putting it mildly.
Now, when you look at the potential economic impact of it, then certainly it would make sense. But we just could not reach an agreement. I tried. Year and a half we tried. So you just got to move on. They can buy them at auction and do whatever they need to with them. But so what we did was we also had a study commissioned, and they looked at whether or not it was economically viable. There was going to be a lot of money in the swimming pool, a substantial amount of money, and as I've said several times, construction costs are way up. They're coming down now, but they're about 30% higher than they were just a couple of years ago. So you've got to take that into account as well. So it was going to be tremendously expensive. We didn't think we would get the economic return on that part of it. So what we've done is it's not over. I'm not saying we're foreclosing the idea of the pool. But we're going to move forward with the part that we know that we can do, which is the Macy's building. We were able to acquire it. We didn't have any issues. It's almost completely torn down. And then we should be able to start construction on the Capitol Sports Complex which we'll have to rebrand, by the way. I've been calling it the Capital Sports Complex. We can talk about that, too.
I heard Harvey Payton talking about that earlier, that you can't call it the Capital Sports Complex?
Well, we could. The question is, would it be as effective? And we want something that is – there are several other complexes already called Capital Sports Complex. There are. And so that messes up your, for the tech people out there. I'm not one of them, but for, it messes up your Google SEO results. And so
search engine.
So you've got somebody in Indianapolis going to Google Capital Sports Complex. They're going to get 3 of them, right? Yeah. So we've got to make sure that we are unique. And that's the key to marketing, the key to branding. It needs to be unique. And so we're gonna work on that.
Salango land.
No, it will not have my name anywhere near it. I promise you. So we got to come up with a very unique name so that it stands out. But the part that we're going to be able to do now, which I call Phase A, hopefully there will be a Phase B which would include the aquatic center. Only time will tell. Phase A is going to be the basketball, pickleball, volleyball, the gym, the rooms with the climbing walls so people can come and rent and, have their birthday parties and whatnot there. That's going to be a significant economic driver. And when you combine that with what the city already has, which is the Charleston Coliseum and Convention Center, we can have just major tournaments. People were right before Regatta started, we finished up the largest soccer tournament in the East Coast. Down at Shawnee, and we had to, in fact, it's so big we have to also use Barbersville. Yeah. It's just a massive tournament. We had like 12 to 15,000 people in town. It's millions and millions of dollars coming in. So that's what you're going to be able to see with basketball and volleyball and some of those sports that will be able to come in. We'll be able to use the sports complex and also the Charleston Coliseum Convention Center.
But Commissioner, it's got to be a little bit of a gut punch, though, because from day one, this thing, and you were on this show 2 or 3 years ago whenever this idea came out, talking about this aquatic center.
I was disappointed, to be honest. And all I can tell you is that the mayor and I made tremendous efforts to make it happen. And I'm not giving up. Just because you failed the first time doesn't mean it's over. It just means you succeed next time. So I'll just keep working on it.
So what are the next steps now? As far as obviously there's a lot of demolition going on. There has been for some time. So what's
it's
next?
Almost finished. They're actually working on a wall so we can finish the demolition at the Macy's building. And then the architects are hard at work with the design. We'll be able to unveil that, I believe, in around August, maybe August 20th. I may have that date wrong. That's just off my memory.
Okay.
And then we will, as soon as the architects are finished, we're going to start construction. So the goal is to have it open by the end of 2026. That's the goal.
Okay.
So that's, it's a major project, but I think it's going to have a tremendous effect, not just on Charleston, but also Kanawha County and the state. We're going to have people coming in all the time for that.
And how many, when you say you got the rock climbing wall and you've got the basketball courts and the pickle court, there are those things in other areas. How big is this thing going to be that's going to have people that want to come in from out of town for these things?
What they don't have in other areas is the volume that we will have. So we will have numerous courts at the facility, but also across the street at the convention center. So we'll be able to combine them both. So when people come in, they won't have to leave. In other areas, and Akron has, I think, one of the biggest travel basketball tournaments in the country every year. But they can't have it at one facility. It's kind of spread out all over, similar to what we're doing at Shawnee with the regional tournament every year, USU soccer. We have to spread it out. So people, one game they may be at Shawnee, the next game they have to drive to Barbersville. Mm-hmm. We don't want that to happen. So what we're going to do, the reason why this is going to be quite frankly better than other regions is because we're going to have it all under essentially one roof. Mm-hmm. You just got to cross the street, to play. And people can stay here. They can stay at the hotels downtown. Hopefully there'll be more hotels. I know there's at least one more coming, hopefully 2 more. And we'll be able to generate significant money for our local businesses.
Well, and for those people that say, Delegate Kaylee Young told me one time,
mm-hmm.
She told me this, she said, and believe it or not, I learned something from Kaylee Young. She said, don't read the comments. And on news stories. And there were those about, Charleston's a ghost town anyway.
I disagree with that. I think Charleston is on the rise.
The entire Kanawha Valley, for that matter.
Yeah, no, I disagree. And I see those comments, and I, quite frankly, sometimes I do read the comments, and sometimes I learn from the comments.
Sure, yeah.
And truthfully, some of the best ideas that we will get will start from someone who calls in with a negative comment, we've made tremendous upgrades with Shawnee based upon several comments that people made, and they would call me directly. And I said this back when we built Shawnee in 17 and 18. I read the comments, particularly back then, you know, and we made significant changes, and it was all for the better. So, yeah, don't be shy about the comments. If you want to make them, make them.
The Dave Allen Show on 580 Live brought to you in part by Bridge Valley. If you're interested in improving your company's IT workforce, you're going to want to know Bridge Valley offers custom-tailored IT training to bridge the skills gap. At Bridge Valley, train for little or no cost. 50-50 salary match available. They can also supply skilled graduates and apprenticeships for your company. Visit bridgevalley.edu/apprenticeships today. Speaking of Shawnee, what's going on out there?
We have a major, two things going on. Number one, you know, we are still working on the security upgrades. McNeil Fence has apparently they've get all the new gates in. That is going to start on Monday. They promised me that it will be finished by the end of the week, you know, making sure that we have those emergency exit bars. That issue is still on the forefront,
which was somewhat called into question. What was it, a month or so ago that we had the shooting?
It was
not there, but away from there.
But, it was 2 blocks away, but people thought it was there.
Yeah,
you know, it sounded like it was there because it was high caliber weapons that were used nearby, and you get that echo. You don't know where in the world people are shooting from. Honestly, the first call that I got, they said that the shooting was at the facility, so I thought it was there as well. So anyway, those emergency bars, those new gates are coming in. They're supposed to be here Monday. They're going to be installed by the end of next week. So that'll be a tremendous upgrade at the complex. Then we have the new entrance building. Thankfully, Governor Justice and Senator Joe Manchin gave us grants to build a new building. We did not have the restroom capacity at Shawnee, quite frankly, that, you know, it was people were standing in line for restrooms. They were standing in line for concessions. And so we are essentially tripling or quadrupling the size of that building. So we'll be able to host more people. It'll change the way that you come into the park, which will be for the better. So we're excited about that. That should be finished. That's going to take about 12 months, we think. I'm hoping to get it done in 9, but we'll see.
So what's going on at the courthouse? I mean, you've been some renovations going on there. And then, speaking of comments, or at least text, we got some text for you to read.
Okay,
go ahead.
That's fine. The courthouse, we've got it's going to be about a $10 million upgrade. So the legislature increased the number of circuit judges. We got an additional circuit judge, Rich Lindsay, won that race, and then we've got 3 additional magistrates. So we had to upgrade the facility. We had to expand. There were some other things we needed to do anyway. The courthouse is a bit dated. I think it's about 40 years old. I may be wrong on that, but it's about 40 years old. And we've already made some upgrades with the HVAC, and right after COVID, we were able to do that. But we have to expand. That is a major project. So we've got 3 or 4 major projects going on in Kanawha County. That's going to start very soon. We're going out to bid in August on that project, and we hope to have construction start in October. Obviously, we've got the new judges, new magistrates starting in January. So the goal is to have 1 new circuit judge chamber finished in January of 2025 when the new judge comes in. And then we've got, hopefully, the magistrate area will be finished in March of 25. Now, that's ambitious. And I'm sitting here, you know, I look at these dates and I'm thinking, how in the world are they going to be able to do that in just a couple months? We'll see. They told me they will. So I'll be over there, you know, monitoring.
Tapping the foot, going, let's go. All right. Text says, Dave, ask the commissioner why most counties have courthouse records online but not Kanawha.
That's a good question. I think some, and there are 2 different types of courthouse records. You got the litigation, you know, the circuit clerk's office with the litigation. Some of that is online, not all of it. Some of the information contains sensitive information. For instance, when there's a debt collection, it'll include date of birth and Social Security. So you can't automatically upload that because it could be.
But don't other counties do that?
Sometimes they do, as long as they redact the information. So I'm in favor of having all that information online. The other part of it are the county records. So, you know, you can get now all the tax information's online. You can get on there and see what the taxes are, and you know the personal and real property. But the deeds aren't online, and honestly, I think that should happen. And so I've commented for a couple of years now that we need to make sure that that's available for search online.
Is that something that you plan on working on, you and the other commissioners?
It's something I'm in favor of.
Okay.
Now, what that entails to go back and get 100+ years of records and scan them in and upload and make it searchable, that's a big project. So, but it's got to happen. I mean, we can't just, you know, pretend like it's, you know, 1960. We got to actually upgrade.
Text says, going back to the sports complex, but we don't have a pool now. The Wise pool is constantly down. Why not pool first? We have soccer courts, we have pickleball courts, we have basketball courts. Where are the pools in the winter?
Yeah, no, I agree. We, and the county spent a tremendous amount of money trying to keep the UC pool going. There were construction issues, there were maintenance issues, there were tons of problems. We spent hundreds of thousands of dollars. So that people would be able to go and use that pool. So I agree that a pool is needed. The problem is the pool is not going to generate, and we've got study after study to show this, the pool will not generate the economic impact that the other part will.
Really? I thought it would.
It will not, because when you're talking about bringing in a girls volleyball team, for instance, they're traveling with tons of people. You look at the soccer match. We had one tournament that lasted 5 days. It brought in $24 million. 2 weeks before that, we had the regional President's Cup. That brought in $8 million because they're coming in there and they're staying here for 5 or 6 days, and they're bringing family members. So you're booking hotels, you're eating at restaurants, you're shopping, you're getting gas, you're doing all the things. Swimming is a big sport, but it doesn't travel like those sports do.
That makes sense.
And that's just the economic reality of it. There, you can Google and see all that information. But we've studied it. We've studied it several times, and the truth is the other side, which I call the money making side. It is cheaper to build, it is cheaper to maintain, and it has the biggest bang for its buck.
And as a texter followed up with what I said earlier, Ben, and wasn't the swimming pool the big selling point to the public?
It was one of the selling points. The idea was that we were going to take a space that was dead, and we were going to try to put people in it. We were going to try to generate revenue off of a place that, quite frankly, was just growing weeds and crumbling. That was the selling point from my perspective. But yes, I wanted a pool. I definitely wanted a pool, and unfortunately, it's not going to happen, at least immediately.
But you're not giving up hope, as you said at the beginning of the interview, Ben. You're not giving up hope.
And it doesn't even have to be in that location. We can have it in a different location. I'd prefer it to be there.
Sure.
But look, you can't make somebody do what they don't want to do, and they thought that they were holding all the cards, and quite frankly, they don't.
Says the texter, shouldn't the pool revenue have been considered before it was promised?
No, it was considered. It definitely was considered. And at that time, and whenever it was we announced it, we were looking at about an $80 million project. Now, if we included the pool, it'd probably be a $120 million project because the prices have gone up. The construction has gone up. But no, I studied pools. I even was looking at the cost of pools, not just for construction, but also for maintenance and operation. The operational side of it, I was studying them all over the country. In fact, I looked at 2 that were in Canada. Anything that I could get public information on the operational cost of a swimming pool, I studied it. So we did look at that. And at that time, I thought it was much more feasible. Of course, we did have a feasibility study that said it's not feasible. That certainly would weigh against it. And I can imagine what would happen if we built the swimming pool and it wasn't feasible, and then somebody comes and calls on this show or texts in and says, by the way, you moron, you had a study that said it wasn't feasible, and yet you did it anyway.
And that came from Mrs. Salango. that text.
Thanks, honey. So that happens. But we've got my goal is to keep looking at that, because I think that would definitely improve, even if it's not as economically feasible as what we had hoped. I still think it's good for the residents. I mean, any park is not economically feasible. I promise you this. Every single park that you have, and I don't care whether it's state-owned, federal-owned, or county-owned, it loses money. Parks lose money. You do not develop parks because you're trying to even break even or make money. You do that for quality of life. And so I get that part of it too. So the people that are messaging me, and there have been a number of them, they understand that too, that this is a quality of life issue, not an economic issue. But the problem is when we're already doing several incredibly large projects, courthouse, Shawnee, the one side of the Phase A of Capitol Sports Center, it can be a challenge to take on more. And quite frankly, I don't like debt. The county has $0 in debt right now, 0. And we worked hard to get it that way. So I think I speak for all the commissioners, Commissioner President Wheeler and Commissioner Slotnick. We don't want to take on more debt than we can handle.
Sounds good. Got to leave it there. Commissioner Salango, I appreciate you being here, man.
Hey, thanks for having me.
Don't just totally dismiss the Salango land.
No, I've dismissed that. That's not happening.
All right. The Dave Allen Show on 580 Live is brought to you part by your hometown baseball team, the Charleston Dirty Birds. Birds wrapping up their road series in Lexington. They are back at Gomart Ballpark tomorrow night to begin a weekend series against Gastonia. There's a lot of stuff going on at the ballpark. Joe Guerin from the Birds is going to join us to talk about it tomorrow. Tickets, promotion schedule, Dirty Birds gear, and more. Visit dirtybirdsbaseball.com. Back after this on the Voice of Charleston, WCHS.
Brought to you by the Eric J. Tarr Family Businesses. Eric J. Tarr Family Businesses are small businesses with big impact, including Generations Physical Therapy and Snap Fitness.
Red, white, and vroom. Gear up for incredible savings at Thornhill Ford Lincoln on the Thornhill Motor Mile. Hey, it's Sydney, and right now at Thornhill, you can drive home a new 2024 Ford Escape with 2.9% APR for up to 72 months, plus a $1,000 trade assist rebate. Shop online anytime at thornhillford.net or visit us on US 119 in Chapmanville. Discover why Thornhill Ford Lincoln is your ultimate destination for unbeatable deals and exceptional service on the road to total savings. Must qualify for all offers through Ford Financial. See Thornhill for all details.
Welcome to Poca Valley, where we've been in business since 1908. Today, we serve Roane, Kanawha, Putnam, and surrounding counties. We believe you deserve banking that provides friendly customer service. For all of your financial needs, stop by one of our 8 convenient locations. Call us at 844-782-2651 or visit us online at PocaValleyBank.com. Poca Valley, where relationships matter.
Member FDIC.
Looking to buy or sell U.S. coins or currency, or need an appraisal on a coin collection? The Coin Man in St. Albans has been established since 2009, and he's the area's expert in currency. Whether you're buying or selling coins and coin accessories, he's got you covered. But that's not all. He also deals in select antiques and glassware. Visit the Coin Man today at 2412 Kanawha Terrace in St. Albans and discover treasures that transcend time. The Coin Man, where every coin tells a story.
According to USA Today, 1 in 7 children in West Virginia face food insecurity issues. Hi, I'm Jason Quintrell, President and CEO of Union Mission Ministries. There are some obstacles our children face with access to food despite many feeding programs available. That is why Union Mission has partnered with some local middle schools to place food directly into the hands of children who need it. Help us remove those obstacles and help feed our kids. Visit unionmission.com to learn more.
This summer, Instacart presents famous summer flavors coming to your front door. Or pool. Or hotel.
Your grocery delivery has arrived, sir.
That was faster than room service.
No violins in the lobby.
Oh, seriously? Anyway, sit back, relax, and get delivery in as fast as 30 minutes. Starring your favorite snacks, drinks, and more. Download Instacart for free delivery on your first 3 orders. Rated H for hungry audiences. Offer valid for a limited time. Minimum $10 per order. Excludes restaurants. Additional terms and fees apply.
In the aftermath of a serious car wreck, Peyton Law Firm stands ready to be your beacon of hope. With unwavering dedication, Peyton Law Firm will navigate the complexities of your case, fighting for justice and the compensation you deserve. From debilitating injuries to emotional trauma, Peyton Law Firm understands the toll it takes. Our attorneys have more than 60 years combined experience handling injury cases. Call Peyton Law Firm for a free consultation at 755-5556 or online at peytonlawfirm.com.
The Dave Allen Show on 580 Live brought to you part by Pinnacle Consultants. Poor indoor air quality can cause a variety of health issues, allergies, respiratory problems, and more. Pinnacle offers specialized indoor air quality services for residential, commercial, and industrial settings. Visit pinnaclecorp.net because what you don't know can hurt you. A couple of quick texts. The swimming pool sounds like the carrot that was dangled, then pulled away in favor of the big old stick. How about the hillbilly Olympic sports facility? No one else would have that. Dave, why not upgrade Shawnee or coonskin pools to handle the seasonal use for various practices and competitions? Why weren't we told in the beginning you must have had those studies before you promised? Well, they did the study, and the study said it wasn't economically feasible, but they were going to try to go ahead with it anyway. Text says the soccer, basketball, etc. should benefit the area citizens who live and work in Charleston metro area by providing a swimming pool from those revenues. Mike Pushkin is here. How are you, man?
Good morning. I'm doing well. How are you doing?
I'm doing fine. I know the State Democratic Party, of which you are the head of, also Delegate Mike Pushkin, for those who don't know. That wouldn't be anybody. You released a statement condemning the assassination attempts on Donald Trump. Obviously, you and other entities did. Your thoughts then on Saturday and your thoughts now?
Well, my thoughts have not changed one bit. I mean, our thoughts and prayers are with the former president and his family, and especially the victims in this horrible event. This Pennsylvania former fire chief that died, from what I understand, protecting his family, trying to shield his family from gunfire from an AR-15. All he was doing that day was trying to express his political preferences, going to a political rally, something that's very American.
Sure.
To go to a political rally, and that's all he was doing, and wound up being killed. And of course, the other two victims, who I've heard are now in more stable condition, and that's great. But we condemned the violence, just like every good American should.
And again, we don't know what the motives were. Was this guy a Trump hater, although he was a registered Republican, or was he somebody? And I kind of harken back, and you and I are the same age, to Hinckley, that tried to kill Reagan just to impress Jodie Foster. I mean, and there is intel coming out that said he had also on his phone Googled things about President Biden. Yeah,
he was looking up both candidates' schedules. From what I've heard, and that's only just what I've heard in the media, like speculation. You have. We don't know. Nobody knows what the motive could have possibly been, but we do know that somebody with some extreme mental illness got a hold of a high-powered rifle and did some real harm. A lot of harm to our country.
Been watching much of the RNC, the Republican National Convention?
Bits and pieces, about as much as I can stomach.
Well, that's an honest answer. What'd you think of the governor's speech Tuesday night?
I was troubled by the last part of it, and I think a lot of people were, especially when there's been all this talk of dialing down the rhetoric, and then the governor has this line about, we're going to go on. I can't remember exactly what he said. I don't know if he could repeat it either, but about we're going to, become unhinged if our guy doesn't win. What is that supposed to mean? Didn't they already do that in January?
I had an issue with that too, and Delegate Kayla Young and I talked about that yesterday on the show. I thought, and again, I'm a free speech guy, but I don't think that was something that probably should have been said in that setting, in my opinion. But the governor is not one to follow a script, or he kind of goes off of what he says. And to say the country is going to become, I mean, there are just as many people that would say that if Trump wins, the country is going to become unhinged. We don't need that kind of rhetoric, in my opinion.
I'm not sure what the point of it was, or what he really had to gain by saying something like, get up there and state your case, but you don't have to. To me, it almost sounded like a threat. I'm not sure if that's how he meant it or not. All I know is what he said, and it did not come off well.
You planning on watching tonight when the president he's been there every night, but he actually speaks tonight and officially accepts the nomination, I guess. Or are you planning on being there tonight?
Yeah,
watching.
I definitely will not be there, but I'm going to tune in. If I can stay up that late, it comes on pretty late. And,
for old guys like us,
I get up. I try to get up early. I couldn't. I tried to listen to his pick for Vice President J.D. Vance, Senator Vance, but it got kind of late. I couldn't stay awake through his speech. It wasn't the most exciting speech. If you want my honest
what do you
opinion.
think?
Couldn't keep me awake, but I can tell you, I'm very disappointed in that selection. To me, it's doubling down on a very far right, extreme philosophy. I don't think that's reaching to the middle. I don't think that's trying to bring more people into the fold by picking somebody like J.D. Vance. First of all, as being a lifelong West Virginian, Appalachian, not an Appalachian like J.D. Vance claims to be, an Appalachian, I find a lot of his writings to be very offensive and degrading towards people who live in this area. If you're a student of West Virginia history, we've been often treated really like a third world nation. Our resources have been stripped away. We're left with very little to nothing in return. People outside of the state have gotten very rich off of our resources and our cheap labor here historically. And that has led to some long-term problems for this state, whether it's poor public health outcomes, the addiction crisis, just abject poverty. And it's just a historical fact that the way that this state has been treated has led to some really poor outcomes. And if you read his book, he likes to blame it squarely on the people here. Well, and I believe in personal responsibility too, but you gotta factor in these other elements with the complete exploitation of this part of the country to make other people rich. And then he gets up there and he delivers this populist type speech. Meanwhile, he is backed by hedge fund managers. He is backed by people in the tech industry who pumped millions and millions of dollars into his campaign in 22 when he first ran for Senate.
As is every politician, seemingly.
Yeah, but the people who back him, like namely this guy Peter Thiel, he's got some very interesting views.
I did read some.
He doesn't believe women should be able to vote. Doesn't believe women should be able to vote. He has a quote saying that he doesn't believe freedom and democracy can coexist. That's dangerous to have somebody like that backing you. And of course, Senator Vance has some pretty extreme views himself. He has said he is for a nationwide ban on abortion.
He and Trump differ on that. And now I'm not saying one won't come around to the other.
Well, Trump can say all he wants, but he is the one who appointed these three justices that resulted in Roe being
There are
overturned.
people, I don't know whether you've heard this, Mike, and we got to go to break. I don't know whether you've heard this. There are people within the Republican Party right now, and I've had one that regularly texts this show, that's not particularly enamored with Trump right now because he thinks, this person, he or she that texts the show, thinks that Trump has started, some of his ideas have weakened the Republican Party platform because he's taken it, as the texter said, he thinks Trump's taken it too liberal.
Wow. Okay. Was he publicly saying this?
No, I don't. He was a texter to the show.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Probably not.
I don't know.
Nobody, unlike our party, they're not allowed to publicly criticize their leader.
But
that's a problem. That's not democratic.
Hold on. The Dave Allen Show on 580 Live is brought to you part by Husson's Pizza. This month at your favorite Husson's, order any regularly priced large 18-inch pizza and get a 2-liter Pepsi at no additional charge. We're back. I got some texts for Mr. Pushkin to get to. Plus, I want to talk a little bit more about the governor. Back after this on the Voice of Charleston, WCHS.
Are you a physical therapy assistant and looking for an opportunity in orthopedics, wellness, and athletic care? If so, Generations Physical Therapy is offering flexible work hours and an upbeat atmosphere. With 7 convenient locations, Generations may have a job designed for you. Visit generationspt.com.
Red, white, and vroom! Gear up for incredible savings at Thornhill Ford Lincoln on the Thornhill Motor Mile. Hey, it's Sydney, and right now at Thornhill, you can drive home a new 2024 Ford Escape with 2.9% APR for up to 72 months, plus a $1,000 trade assist rebate. Shop online anytime at thornhillford.net or visit us on US 119 in Chapmanville. Discover why Thornhill Ford Lincoln is your ultimate destination for unbeatable deals and exceptional service on the road to total savings. Let's qualify for all offers through Ford Financial. See Thornhill for all details.
Bigley Piggly Wiggly on Spring Street has served 3 generations of shoppers since 1955 as the largest locally owned independent grocery store in the area. The Joseph family owners grew up here, so you know they're invested in the community. They provide the biggest variety of choice meats, the freshest produce, an in-house deli bakery, great wine selection, and more of your favorite brands. Every purchase gives you gasoline points so you can save at our pumps. Order online for pickup at BigleyPigglyWiggly.com. Bigley Piggly Wiggly on Spring Street. No one beats the pig.
Stay ahead of the political curve with Meet the Press, the legendary political talk show that has been a mainstay of American television for over 70 years, is also on the radio. Get unique insights into the complex world of politics with thoughtful analysis and in-depth interviews that never fail to deliver. Don't miss a single episode of Meet the Press, Sundays at noon on 580 WCHS.
The Dave Allen Show on 580 Live brought to you part by Jute. For the best in security systems for both your home or business, talk to Jute of Taze Valley. Visit protectedbyjute.com. Texter says, ask Mr. Pushkin who he thinks the Democrat nominee for president will be when Biden drops out.
I'm not going to answer a hypothetical. President Biden won every primary, and he has more than 90% of the pledged delegates. I do believe that President Biden is going to do what he feels is in the best interest of the country. And I am not privy to the same kind of data that the president and his folks have in regards to polling. So it is definitely not my call, but I'm not going to sit here and answer hypotheticals. There's one person that can answer the question over whether or not President Biden is going to stay in the race. President Biden.
AP poll came out yesterday, said 3/4 of Democrats think he should step aside.
Yep, I saw that. So, I mean, I'm seeing the same stories you are about, Majority Leader Schumer and Minority Leader Jeffries.
Yes. Adam Schiff.
Former Speaker Pelosi having these discussions, and I'll tell you right now, great. So I am not part of those discussions. Okay?
I didn't ask you.
My job is to help elect Democrats here in West Virginia, and that's what we plan to do.
Tech says Hoppy addressed this yesterday, and I agree with him. With the tone Justice used when he said we've become unhinged, I took him to mean with everything our country has gone through the past 4 years under this administration, with record inflation, gas prices and groceries, the invasion of 10 million illegals at the southern border, etc. We have truly lost our minds if we don't put Trump back in the White House.
All the things we've gone through, like passing the Bipartisan Infrastructure Act, or the American Rescue Plan that has sent historic amount of monies down to cities and counties throughout West Virginia, the Inflation Reduction Act that led to such announcements like Nucor and Form Energy, Green Motors here in Kanawha County, all of the stuff that we've gone through during the Biden administration that we should be thankful for. I know Governor Justice is thankful for it. He shows up at every photo op and ribbon cutting and with a golden shovel and some big scissors to cut ribbons, but he never, ever expresses that gratitude to President Biden, who actually got the legislation passed that has disproportionately helped us here in West Virginia.
I want to talk about the governor, as you firmly believe.
Let's talk about him.
You firmly believe. I'm sure that you're behind Glenn Elliott. For
100%.
I would expect that. If Justice wins this race, are you concerned about his ability to serve?
Very. I think everybody should. There's been a lot of talk about the fitness of President Biden, about is he going to be able to serve the next 4-year term. Well, Jim Justice is running for a 6-year term, and we've not had any real serious discussion about that. In fact, I tell you what, if there was a foot race between President Biden and Jim Justice, I know who I would bet on. I'd bet on the president.
That could be the worst foot race.
I don't mean to be disparaging, but does anybody really expect Jim Justice, who has been a no-show governor for 8 years, does anybody really expect him to show up and do the job for 6 years in Washington, D.C.? Because you can't vote from the Greenbrier. You have to actually be there in your seat to vote in order to have West Virginia represented by not one, but 2 senators. He's going to have to show up. And does anybody really expect him to do the job? Because he hasn't done it here in Charleston.
All right, final text. Oh, yes, a Christian who is married to a Hindu from India, raised by his grandmother while his addicted mother struggled to get clean. Yale graduate and Iraq War Marine veteran is such a radical threat. Give me a break. You're desperately grasping at straws.
Are they talking about Vance?
Yes.
Yeah, he is a threat. In fact, just today, the foreign minister of Russia was out singing his praises. Why? Because he wants to completely cut off funding for Ukraine. He wants to hand Ukraine over to Russia. I don't even recognize today's Republican Party. It's not the party of Reagan.
We got to leave it there. Mike, I appreciate you being here for Dave Allen Show on 580 Live, brought to you part by Morgan & Morgan. With more than $20 billion recovered, they believe when you're injured, you deserve more. Morgan & Morgan, America's largest injury law firm. Got to go. Hoppy coming up at 10:06 with Talk Line. See you tomorrow. Till then, have fun and love somebody.